I'm so sorry, everybody. I am just so apologetic that we could have watched Godzilla -1 had they just released it in America, or at the very least in Japan with English subtitles, but they didn't. They didn't, everybody. So instead, we're reviewing Planet of the Apes 2001 on In Review today. Of course, I am Tim Geddes. I'm joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Didn't know Tim Burton did this one.
Oh, yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just a couple short years before he did Willy Wonka.
Wow, what a hot streak.
You know? What a streak.
Yeah.
Joining us as well, it's Christmas in May. Joey Noel.
I would like everybody at the table here to raise your hands if you've been personally victimized by Tim this week. Yeah, all the hands.
Myself included. And rounding out the group today is the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Tim, I think I watched this movie one time in the theater and just blacked the whole thing out. So thank you for letting me revisit that horror and drama.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There is one real winner here, and his name is Timur Hussein. Because he is on Planet of the Apes in Review. I don't know if you remember. This was during the era where we did 2 reviews a week during the work from home situation that we had going on. And as often is the case with In Review, we're getting close to a new one. Me and Joey are sitting there planning it out, looking at all the schedules. And then there's that moment of like, wait, who's on that one? And it's wild how much we just forget who is on each In Review or whatever it is. We look back, we're like, oh yeah, Joey and Tam were on it. I remember Tam being on it. I don't remember Joey, and neither did you.
No. I thought I was on Godzilla, which apparently I wasn't.
Yeah.
And then I am on this one, which I didn't remember. I do remember watching all of them, but I had just forgotten that was about In Review.
Yeah.
Maybe it was in the alternate universe, in the other universe Greg's from.
It's starting to bleed through.
Yeah. Exactly. But Tam lucked out because I gave him the wrong date for this one. So he didn't get to watch it. And he's not here today. And I am very jealous of him for that. He will be joining us next week, though, when we do Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Hoping to get back on track to the last couple of movies, which were absolute bangers. But enough about all that.
Can't be worse than this one.
Of course, this is Kind of Funny's In Review, where each and every week we get together to rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. If you like that, you should check us out on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, our new home. If you didn't notice, all of our content will now live on Kind of Funny Games, all the core content, and that includes In Review, Kind of Funny Podcast, Kind of Funny Screencast when we do it, all of that stuff. All of our main shows in one place, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. The original Kind of Funny channel will now be highlights that go up each and every day for you to check out over there. But thank you for your understanding and your patience and all of it. And if you want to listen to us on podcast services, you could do that. Just search your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny In Review, and we'll still be right there for you. If you wanted to go above and beyond, like Nick Scarpino here raising his hand, what's up?
I'm going to say, Tim, it's just like when you used to have to go to a Target and then a Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Now they put the Starbucks in the Target. That's what we've done for everyone here.
Yes. You're welcome, everybody. You're welcome. And thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Karen Lindner, Fargo Brady, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew.
Wow.
You are all the absolute best.
Thank you.
Shout out to Aura Frames, but we'll talk to you all about that later. Remember, you can get the Kind of Funny membership. It gets you the shows ad-free. You can watch live as we record them, and you get a daily exclusive Greg Way. Today we're talking about Planet of the Apes 2001, the first reboot of the Planet of the Apes franchise, with a runtime of 2 hours on the dot. Just 2 hours on the dot, not a second more. How did that feel to you, Andy?
Well, I mean, did they have was there a limit? Like, would he have gone longer?
I don't know.
Would there have been more punishment afterwards?
Is there a Burton cut?
You know, I mean, well,
at least the Burton cut.
Whenever we're watching some of these movies, I don't want you all to really feel how I'm feeling in these moments. I don't want you to get the wrong impression of me, but like the millisecond the credits hit, I unplug the Xbox. And I say, you know what I mean? Like so there may have been more. Maybe there's a lot of like post-credit scenes that I've just completely not watched because I'm like, movie's done, I'm out. Let me, I need me time.
There was not one. There was
good.
Not one.
Thank God. Thank God. It ended really cool though. Tell you what.
That's the word you're going to use.
Released on July 27th, 2001. This is the 6th installment in the Planet of the Apes film series. It's loosely based on the 1963 novel of the same name and serves as a remake of the 1968 film version. Directed by Tim Burton, who was quoted after this as saying that he'd rather jump out of a window than direct a sequel to this film.
Whoa.
So
that's funny because I think I'd rather jump out of the window than watch a sequel to this film.
Yeah. So
we're on the same
A low
page.
one, like a first floor.
and then here we go. Music by Danny Elfman. Of course, we have the iconic duo of Danny Elfman and Tim Burton, which, like, as time goes on and I watch more movies that they've done together, I realize more and more, wow, I guess I'd really just like Pee-wee.
That's the only
You know
one.
what I mean? And Batman. But, like,
Well,
man.
it's the exact same soundtrack for all of them.
pretty much.
Right, that's all it is.
Well, I don't know. But, like, you know, Pee-wee has its own thing. Batman, iconic as hell. This one, not really doing it for me. I'm going to say that.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
I
Charlie
didn't-
and Chocolate Factory had its moments musically.
Some of the
Good and
songs
bad.
bangers.
Yeah.
I will say that I didn't realize this was Tim Burton and Danny Elfman until the opening credits started, and I was like, oh,
There's no way you don't know.
this is Danny Elfman for sure.
Yeah. And it is funny to think about that because 2001, very interesting placement for this movie to come out. Like, this was the blockbuster of the moment. And this is after Spider-Man and Phantom Menace.
What about Godzilla?
a couple years after Godzilla? And it,
That was 99.
what's his name? 98.
Broderick?
Matthew Broderick?
No, the director of that Godzilla.
Oh, I don't remember.
Jesus.
Starts with an R.
Yeah. Roland
Yes.
Emmerich, I think.
Yes,
right?
that's what it is.
Oh.
He almost directed this.
Ah.
Would have been a better
Interesting.
use of his time than Tim Burton's time in this movie.
I mean, it's something, right? But also Danny Elfman doing the Spider-Man soundtrack as well at similar time. So he still had bangers in him at this point. But I do appreciate how similar, like, this is such an era of movies, like this early 2000s, where it's like it does start with just epic music playing and like we actually get like credits of like shouting everybody out. Like, they just don't do that anymore.
That's where, you know, when we look at the runtime, for anybody who plans on watching this, you can shave off a good 2 minutes from the intro.
Because they essentially just do the like credits before the white on black credits just
Yeah.
in the beginning. You know?
Yeah.
Very similar to the way Spider-Man opened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're cutting out those credits at the beginning, I feel like those are two of the most enjoyable minutes of this movie.
You're right.
So maybe find some other 2 minutes to
It's
cut out
it's
other
those
than the
moments.
credits.
It's the moments where you've ordered the Postmates and you're like, I hope it gets here crispy and good, and then it gets there and you can see the bag is just soggy.
Yeah. But then you get Paul Giamatti, Joe. So
You get a lot of people in
So
this.
bite your tongue, Joe. Okay.
This one had a budget of $100 million and a box office of $362 million, making it the second highest opening weekend of 2001 after Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The film also dethroned Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, for having the best opening for any 20th century Fox film.
Ugh.
The expectations were lofty.
Fox has just been at it, huh? Like they,
Oh, yeah,
like
man.
their lineage goes back.
They've
Has
been
Fox
doing
ever had it?
I mean,
Fox? I mean, yeah.
Oh, Fox had it.
Oh, yeah.
Fox has put out some of like bangers, the all-time bangers. We got Die Hard, Predator. We got the 80s. Fox was the shit. All the Alien movies are Fox.
Okay.
All that stuff. It's just somewhere along the line they were like, what else do we have deep in our catalog? And somebody somewhere said Planet of the Apes was the play. And I remember as a person who lived through that era being like, odd choice. I don't know that anyone's clamoring for a Planet of the Apes movie right now. You know when someone like when they make an announcement and you go, interesting. Like when they were like, hey, Greta Garwig's doing Barbie. And we're like, well, who's in it? And it's like, oh, it's Margot Robbie and what's his name?
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling. And I'm like, interesting. Don't know that I need a Barbie movie, but you have my attention, right? 2001 comes around as Tim Burton and some apes. I don't think we need this.
Is that true though? I feel like it's the perfect movie to reboot. Then of just like, hey, we're looking for this is the new age of DVDs. I remember this kind
Sure.
of being one of the flagship titles that were there was Matrix, right? There was really like the DVD movie. But I remember all eyes were on Planet of the Apes of like this is going to be a technical achievement unlike anything we've ever seen.
And to be fair, parts of the movie look good. The movie doesn't look bad. The visuals of the movie aren't the worst part of the movie.
Oh man, I'm going to be interested to talk to you about that.
I'm gonna
Feel free to
I'm gonna say
disagree with me.
I think it's weird around that era to be like Tim Burton is the choice for this movie. Like I don't see that at all. I legitimately think, no joke, out of all the movies we reviewed, this has the worst action I've ever seen. Like choreography, fights, the wire work is
The jumping.
for the most part
Everyone's
pretty
jumping.
terrible.
You're so
But dude,
jumping.
if you happen to ever rewatch this movie, just kind of like it's easy to get caught up in the silliness of the costumes and Mark Wahlberg being Marky Mark, but the action is just like so amateur. It's like somebody who's never had experience doing fight scenes trying to get combat across on the screen and try to make it look cool. It sucks.
I mean, that
dude.
is Tim Burton in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
Prior to this, the only movie that had any fighting in it that he'd ever done was Batman.
Batman,
And even that fighting, was, while cool, wasn't like predominant in the movie. It wasn't like it's 2 hours of him kicking ass in the suit. There's like 3 action sequences in that whole movie that involve like hand-to-hand combat.
I expected like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like wire work type of like flying, and it's just like everything. It looks like the actor's always like
There's no gravity.
It looks like the stunt person's always struggling in that wire. You know what I mean?
The wire,
I mean,
and then it's also just the awkwardness of moving in the costumes,
Dude.
the awkwardness of speaking in the costumes, the awkwardness of doing anything in the
hold on.
costumes.
Why? Like, did they like? Hold on. The movie has ADR.
Sure.
Why can't you just have the actors speak like normal in the ADR booth? Why did you put a bunch of marshmallows in their mouths,
Andy,
to
because
fucking talk?
If you let them do ADR, you wouldn't be able to get the top level horniness of Helen Bonham Carter
Incredible.
talking through the veil and like
Yeah.
touching Mark Wahlberg.
It's all the bangs. It's the bangs.
The bangs were the worst choice.
I'm so excited
It's
for
so
Is It a Wig?
off-putting. What the fuck is this movie?
It's a lot, Nick. And I got some facts for you that I'm excited to tell you guys about. Would you be surprised that this was nominated for 2 BAFTA awards?
Yeah.
For
one for
what?
Best Makeup and one for Best Costume Design. Roth as supporting actor, Bonham Carter as supporting actress.
No.
Colin Atwood for costume and Rick Baker again for makeup received nominations at the Saturn Awards.
No.
They were
the
nominated
Saturn Awards.
at the British
Not BAFTA.
Academy
Not BAFTA.
Film Awards.
Oh.
No, BAFTAs and those. I'm reading you many different awards.
Oh, wow.
Many different awards. The 55th British Academy Film Awards. Danny Elfman was nominated for his work at the Grammys.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes won Worst Remake at the Golden
Razzies?
Raspberry Awards.
Yeah, the Razzies.
While Heston won Worst Supporting Actor and Estella Warren Worst Supporting Actress. At the 2001 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, the film received nominations for Worst Director, Worst Supporting Actress, and Worst Screenplay for a film grossing over $100 million worldwide using Hollywood math.
So that's really
But it
where
failed to win any of them.
well, that's unfortunate.
I wonder what beat this.
Pluto
God.
Nash. It's I will say, like, in defense of the live action prosthetics, like the practical prosthetics, that was obviously a lot of this movie is an homage to the original Planet of the Apes series. We have some character names in there that, like, obviously Charles Heston coming back, a couple lines that were mirrored from the first one. Damn Dirty Apes is now Damn Dirty Humans. His name is Dr. Zaius,
my
who was
God.
also a character back then. Man, but
I
see,
hate
that's
this.
that's like way more interesting than her with the wig. The wig is just weird.
She looks like Sandra Bullock. Is it short-haired Sandra
Interesting.
Bullock in like Speed? Is that her hair?
here's
Are you
what-
serious? Because I wrote that in the script. That is exactly what I wrote in the
I am
script.
equal parts happy that we're on the same wavelength and terrified.
This
you know?
is a reference only 5 people understand, but in Dragon's Dogma, when you can make a cat
Give her a wig
person,
fast shift.
but you can give the
Haircut.
cat person a little bob haircut, and it's just like, oh, that doesn't look right. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of
That's
the whole
what
vibe
we
I
got.
had throughout this movie.
I have more facts for you here, though. Tim Roth suffered extensively in the role of General Thade. He didn't mind the hours and hours spent in the makeup chair, but found the costume extremely constricting. By the end of the shoot, he had trapped nerves and 2 herniated vertebrae in his back.
Holy cow!
Hope
Worth
it was
it,
worth
man.
it.
I don't know if sacrificing your body for this movie is the move.
Just getting ready for the abomination.
We got a couple cameos. Rick Baker, the VFX or SFX artist and makeup guy, is one of the humans transported, as is Linda Harrison, who played Nova in the original 1968 Planet of the Apes. And one of the considered endings had Captain Leo Davidson crash landing at Yankee Stadium and seeing apes playing baseball. This scene was originally suggested in 1995 by 20th Century Fox executives. And then when Hayes submitted a script without the baseball scene, Sellers fired him. And someone else quit. They're like, we need the baseball scene.
Gotta have the baseball
Tim
scene.
Burton wanted the scene, but ended up getting cut due to budgetary concerns. So,
Yankee Stadium's at least $20,000.
and then
I think I would have liked the baseball scene more.
then what we got?
Yeah.
God, I have
What have you got
thoughts.
the closer at the end, Monkeyano Rivera?
Like, just they're not monkeys, they're apes, Andy.
Yeah, but there's no ape.
Comments are going to remind us many times.
There's no ape sound or ape. I was trying to think of an ape sort of pun.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of anything.
Charlton Heston, who was the star of the original movie, as well as president of the National Rifle Association,
Oh,
is the only ape with a gun in this. You know the ape that we see like hold the gun,
Yeah.
right? That is Charlton Heston,
I thought
who is from the original Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And in real life, he is the president of the National Rifle Association.
Well, I know he's president of the NRA, but I'm confused as to why he's the one that gives him the gun. He's the dad. It's Charlton Heston. He's the dying dad.
Yeah. So, sorry, I misread that. He passes the gun to his son Thade while he dies, speaking the line, damn them all to hell.
Yes.
A variation of his character lines in the original. Tim Roth, a vocal supporter of gun control, was originally uncomfortable with this pro-gun scene, but Tim Burton persuaded him, and Roth decided it was okay because it's fiction.
It is fiction. Also, he is the bad guy, so handing a gun to a bad guy is the message of saying, like, these are
But
bad.
also just hilarious that, like, this guy is, like, this involved in the fucking NRA.
Oh, he's big. Yeah, he loves it.
They're just giving these goddamn monkeys
I didn't know
guns.
Charlton Heston roll that way.
it's
He rolls hard.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
like
know
him
much
and
about
Ted
the-
Nugent.
I didn't know much about the dude at all. I didn't know he was in this movie. If you would have asked me, I would have said Charlton Heston probably died in 1948. You know, like I just don't.
Yeah.
He just feels like an actor from like, you know, before,
Probably
you
died
know,
in-
during the talkies.
He was alive for a while because he was in True Lies. He had a thing in that. I think he died like maybe, I would guess like 15 years ago.
Was he
Something
Noah?
like that. He was something like
He was
that.
in
He might have been
Chariots
Noah.
of Fire, right? Or not
no.
Chariots of Fire? No.
He was
What's
in
the other one
he
I'm
was in an
thinking?
old.
He was in a lot of. I
My
think
mom
he was in the
would be
Ten
so
Commandments.
mad.
I actually think Charlton Heston was in the Ten Commandments.
I
yeah.
think so.
I could be
Oh,
wrong
maybe
about
that's
that.
not Noah.
That is not Noah's
Moses.
Ark. It's Moses. I think he played. Let's check this out while Tim
He's
thinks.
Moses. Yeah, Moses.
Tim Roth revealed that despite multiple viewings, he was confused by the film's ending. Quote, I cannot explain that ending. I've seen it twice,
Oh,
and I don't
Ben-Hur.
understand
That's what I
anything.
was thinking, not Chariots.
And many of the cast shared equal views of being like, wait, so what happened?
But now we all get it.
Yeah?
It
Well,
makes
it's
a lot
it's
more.
a time jump. It's a time.
He just
warp.
went through a random, like time
Time warp.
dilation.
Yeah.
We've seen enough media to be like, oh, he probably just went through a wormhole and the age has sped up, whatever the fuck.
Now,
you know?
to
But
be
in
bad-
the movie does a very bad job of
Now,
explaining.
here's the
any
thing,
of that.
guys. I'm with you all because that's what we know of from Planet of the Apes. But they're not on Earth in this. They're on a second planet.
Really? I thought they were on Earth.
No, there's a scene where there's two moons.
No, well, like, that's fine. This doesn't have to be Earth.
No, but the original. Have you seen the original Planet of the Apes?
Yeah, with the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, the spoiler of the original Planet of the Apes is that he's been on Earth the entire time. He just went through a time warp, and monkeys have taken over
Yeah.
now, which is what they want here. You're kidding me that this wasn't
movie
Earth.
does not do that.
That makes sense because he comes through the time warp and he's in the rings of. He's like by the rings of Saturn.
Yeah.
So we didn't see that before. So he would have known he was on Earth. That is.
Well, I think it's just a
Weird.
coincidence that, you know, they made the monkey had.
So
Abe
wait,
Lincoln's
but it
haircut.
makes no sense because then why would the monkeys have taken over Earth? The whole reason the monkeys took over this planet was because Simos came with all the other genetically enhanced monkeys, and through the years have just taken over because they were hella smart.
Multiverse. They is somewhere else.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Why would they be on Earth? That is
Fucking
weird.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Disaster choices in this goddamn movie, man. Holy hell. But before we get to the plot and all that, we need to give our thoughts on this. I just want to start off, if you guys will.
Yeah,
allow me.
please.
Of course.
I think we have a new worst movie we've ever watched on In Review.
Oh.
Whoa.
And you know, there's a lot to learn from
Wild.
that because, I mean, first off, I hated watching this. Like, it was not enjoyable. I wanted to enjoy it. I wanted it to be so bad it's good. It just wasn't. And it's extra bad because it's like, I wanted it to be like, oh, of the time, this was what a blockbuster in 2001, a failed one, but an attempt at one could look like. And you got to appreciate the practical effects and the makeup and the outfits and all that stuff. But do you though,
No.
Andy?
No, I feel
do
ya.
you?
I feel
and,
ya.
and I feel like this movie is just caught in this moment where, on one hand, it's nice to see stuff where it's like, oh, that's practical and real, and there's not CG everywhere. But on the other hand, you're like, but it looks like fucking shit, and it sounds like shit because they can't speak through these freaking masks,
Yeah.
and they can't move in them, and when they do move in them, it looks weightless and so just mind-bafflingly wrong that it's just hard to even sit with this and be able to be like, hey, man, this might not be what I expected or wanted from this, but what are they giving me? They're not giving me shit. Because you know what? There's one thing I love in life. Mark Wahlberg making me laugh being a fucking weird guy. And he doesn't even do that in this
No.
movie.
He's so
Marky
boring.
Mark is not Marky Mark in this. He's just a fucking dude. One of the worst dudes we've ever seen as a character in movie history. This shit is so damn bad. And I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute. Is this the worst in review movie we watched? I was like, what would I say is the worst in review movie we have ever
We've seen a lot of
watched?
Transformers movies.
Transformers: The Last
Last
Night
Night.
would be my number
That's the one.
my number one worst one. And there's a common denominator here, and it is Mark fucking Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Having a lot of realizations right now, you know?
Not great.
I'm with you. I think this movie has nothing going for it. This movie, like, is just. I don't think it's the worst movie we've ever reviewed. I just think it's like.
What do you
it's
think you-
definitely near the very, very, very bottom, though. I'd have to look at a full list, but like, I I was still laughing at the ridiculousness of the costumes and just how silly all of this shit looked. Like it's one of those things that just doesn't. I'm sure back then it was a lot more impressive, and now it looks fucking silly. Like Helena Bonham Carter in that, like at one point, Shang Tsung, who plays one of the other dudes, like he does his look when they're like raiding through the camp, and he does this look where he's like, it's just silly as fuck. Like everybody looks stupid as shit, and I had a bad time with this movie. I don't think it has anything going for it. It just has a lot of mixed messages. It sucks. This movie sucks.
Movie sucks.
Yeah.
Joey, what did you think?
It's a sucky movie.
This movie
I hate
it might be the biggest waste of time. Like 2 hours of my life that I'll never get back. This movie was hard for me to watch in the sense that like even like physically watching it, I like hurt my eyes. Like it's just not fun. Like the movements, I actually like really hate all of the like costuming and makeup in this. It's so like uncanny valley that I'm like, I don't like this at all. I don't care about anything in this movie, frankly.
No.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Also, when people talk about fuck me eyes, they're definitely talking about Helena Bonham Carter in this movie.
That's it.
Fucking
wanted to
up
fuck
Mark
him so
Wahlberg.
bad,
I can't handle it
Oh,
at
they
all.
kissed.
Yeah.
And then he kissed the other
And then
girl.
he kissed the other one.
What was that about?
we
Did two different editors like? All right, hey, I gotta go. Fucking, my wife's at home, but can you finish up the edit? Like, I got you, homie. And then I put it like, hey, why is it you put it the other kiss? Why did he kiss the blonde girl? You already kissed what the
They're like,
fuck
because there's two women in this, and so he has to kiss both of them because he's
Yeah.
Marky Mark.
And
It's not
also
just
Marky Mark, you're
He's
like,
Marky Mark.
Yeah, and at
One
the end,
for
you're
each
looking
Mark.
at blonde bombshell, and he's like, fuck,
I gotta make out with her.
maybe I just stay here.
Also, it's that her character and like that actress is so interesting to me because it seems like that whoever they cast in that role should have been the it person, should have blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
And first big movie, pretty much nothing after, seems like such a miss in casting.
I think
on that.
about that a lot, Joe, when it comes to movies like this that were meant to be massive, and I put myself in these actors' shoes leading up to the press tours and the press junkets and everything, and like what they must have been thinking of, like, wow, this is the beginning of a rise to the stardom. And then I've never seen this woman anywhere ever again. I actually thought she looked a lot like who did Verlander date, or is he still dating her?
Oh, Kate Upton.
Yeah, she reminded me a lot of Kate Upton. She looks like a lot of different actresses I've seen before. I just couldn't. And I looked her up. I was like, never heard of this person. Australian, I think. Never seen her again, I don't think. And that sucks because like, what a stinker of a movie to kind of start and end your career. Now she's been in a lot of other stuff in like other media, but man, it's got to suck for a lot of people who worked on this that thought, here we go, and nothing happened.
And that's kind of where my thoughts are, right? Where you look at the cast in this and you go, what a good cast. Yeah, you got all these great actors covered in this prosthetics. And I actually don't mind the prosthetics. I think it's kind of interesting to go back and watch that. And obviously I grew up watching the Planet of the Apes movies out of order on TV for a long time. And I was just thinking to myself, this is fucking weird. And if you think this is bad, go back and watch those movies. They can't even see through these goddamn costumes. So that stuff doesn't bother me so much. It's just that you get this great cast together, and Joey hit the nail right on the head. There's nothing fun about this. And the new Planet of the Apes movies, I think, were smart enough to realize, hey, this isn't going to be about fun and games. It's not going to be about seeing a fish out of water where a human has to go to a world where largely been by apes and all this and stuff. Like, we're going to go with a vibe that's like darker and messed up and more dramatic. And I think that really works, and they utilize their actors much better there. In this one, I just don't know what they were necessarily going for other than just trading off of the star power of Mark Wahlberg at the time, Tim Burton's star power, and then just the name recognition of Planet of the Apes. But man, what a slog to get through. And you get to the end of it, and it's when he kissed Estella Warren that I was like, have they had any scenes together in this movie? Like, why would other than this guy like being attractive, which he is, and they have no chemistry.
Savior
But, like,
complex.
why would she be that excited about him, and why would he feel the need to kiss her? I'm much more interested in his relationship with Helena Bonham Carter, which I thought was at least somewhat fleshed out. Action sequences are bad. Story is derivative. It's too close to the original as far as like the spoilers at the end to not see that coming. And Mark Wahlberg is just like watching paint dry in this film, except if paint ran around constantly, was slightly out of breath, and was constantly looking just to like the left of the camera with a very confused look on his face the entire movie.
Always like he needs to poop, and it's not a big poop.
Like,
but it's not a small poop.
but he's
it's
not happy
to
about
think
it.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's a little angry about it.
That's to be on your mind.
Like it's just a really
man,
inconvenient time to poop because
Yeah.
then he has to go home because he's one of those like weird nervous poopers like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's definitely unfortunate. Everything going on in this whatever we had to watch. There were two moments that I did like trying to be positive here. I enjoyed one of the conversations with Helena Bonham Carter and him when they were first finally like getting to know each other and talking about where she's at and how she sees everything. I was like, all right, there's some good lines of dialogue here. I'll give you something. And then the scene where we had the two face off and he was like, this is between you and me. And like he eventually does like the face turn.
Yeah.
Like the bad guy like sides with them. I'm like, all right, that was pretty cool. That's all I can say positive about it though.
What did you think about the tech in this movie, Tim?
You know, I hated it. I just fucking hated it.
It reminded me of
looks
Lost in
so
Space.
So I mean, that's
shitty,
honestly,
dude.
when did Lost in Space come out? Because I'm willing to bet like
Wasn't
this
that
is
maybe
of that.
8?
2 years earlier, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is of that time where that was the design aesthetic, which was like super round tech
Awful.
that only
God.
did one specific thing.
I mean, it
which is like
looks
this
like
is my tech that finds the ship. What the fuck is that?
Eiffel 65, I'm blue video.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
shit.
stupid spaceships flying around in this. I was like, this looks absolutely horrible. Sorry, I said there was two things I liked about it. There is a third. And this was the, oh my God, this is so bad, it's good. When this fucking monkey comes back towards the end, when there's this moment of like, oh, we are in all-out war now, and like, who is going to save them? Who is coming through the portals? This is Avengers Endgame, and it's the fucking monkey from the beginning. And I'm like, how does this make sense? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I guess whatever. If you just throw your hands up
Took
and
a
go,
detour, yeah.
time.
I can
Dilation.
somewhat explain that
Uh-huh.
because it's the ship. So Monkey goes in first, then Mark Wahlberg, then the Oberon. Oberon comes in first, then Mark Wahlberg, then Pericles.
Uh-huh.
So it's a reverse time like dilation moment, right? The thing just sends you.
First in, first out.
Which
right?
I guess
Whatever it is.
doesn't really make a lot of sense when you're thinking in terms of like linear timelines, but it makes sense, I guess, if you follow that logic as to why he moved through time and space.
Mhm.
I don't know. And also, how did he know that just going back through the cloud was going to solve his problem? Like it's a two-way street? I don't know. And
don't
also,
think
Well,
ever
well,
know.
he looked at his little fucking,
well, he had a
pocket-
chronometer in there somewhere.
Yeah, he has a little fucking
watch thing?
pocket watch thing with a clock, and he was like, there's a line in here where he says, "Oh, it found a reading of like how I need to get back." Like he,
Got that? Okay.
and that's all the filmmakers needed to let you know, like, hey, don't worry, Nick.
well, the
he's
way
got
they
this.
also was this what they were researching on this? Oh, we'll get into the plot.
We'll get into the plot after a very quick word from our sponsors.
Looking for the perfect gift to celebrate the moms in your life? Aura frames are beautiful, Wi-Fi connected digital picture frames that allow you to share and display unlimited photos. It's super easy to upload and share photos via the Aura app, and if you're giving Aura as a gift, you can even personalize the frame with preloaded photos and memories. How do I, Greg Miller from Kinda Funny, know so much about Aura? Because I just gave Jen one for her birthday. I used the QR code on the box to preload it with photos of her and Benny. And when she booted it up for the first time, she got to see a sweet little message from me. I like this frame so much that I am actually legitimately buying one for my mother for Mother's Day. From grandmothers to new mothers, aunts, and even friends in your life, every mom loves an Aura frame. Right now, Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. Listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off plus free shipping for their best-selling frame. That's auraframes.com. Use code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to save. And mom, if you see this before you get your Aura frame for Mother's Day, please act surprised.
This one's gonna be really hard.
You'll be
I'm
fine.
gonna try my. I'm gonna try
I
my
see you
best.
got a new configuration of your hands there.
Yeah, because my right hand's better on drums. Okay, let me try this. I think I just found a transformer. This movie really sucks and it's got Marky Mark. I don't know why he decided to kiss that ape on the mouth. This movie's really dark. Or the ending's really dark, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Informer.
No, I got it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
I think
by
I
snow.
didn't get it.
By
But
snow.
Got it now. Yeah.
Do you want me to do it again?
You want me to do the beat and you can sing it?
Sure. Yeah, here you
Yeah,
go.
hear it.
Here you go. Bring it in. I think I just found a transform. This movie really sucks and it's got It's got Marky Mark. I don't know why he decided to kiss that ape on the mouth. This ending's really dark. That was really
There
good.
we go. There we go.
That was good.
Holy hell.
See, I can't really emulate the Informer voice while I'm like conscious because I'm trying to hit these notes too. Those are the two notes that they use.
Those
in
are
the song. I just couldn't
trumpets.
do it
They
at the same
love it.
time. So
You guys are right. Yesterday, you have a lot of really good one verses for an album.
I'm telling you, we're gonna do a full album of just the first verse of a bunch of songs we've done. It's gonna be great.
have you ever
Called
heard
First
that song?
Verses.
Oh, yeah.
I was listening to it in the car with on YouTube earlier.
Which one?
I was like, oh,
Informer.
Snow's Informer.
I was like, he's a
Is it
white guy.
Snow?
I don't know he's a white guy. Yeah.
That's why I call him Snow.
That's the way he sounds.
I thought you were
Boom,
gonna
boom,
go
down.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, but you just came out with
There's
one.
one of them smelly ones.
Ooh.
I don't know if I know any Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch songs.
Well, he was like
I guess it was New Kids on the Block.
Marky
No,
Mark
he
and the
was-
Monkey Bunch.
Marky Mark was. I think he was in New Kids for a hot
Also a New
second,
Kids
like
on the
1
Block.
second.
And Donnie Wahlberg,
Yeah,
right?
and then he went out. Okay, my God.
Did you not hear Monkey Bunch, Nick? Come on, bro.
Dude, I'm fucking up. Andy. Andy, it's time to do the plot.
Okay.
The Planet of the Apes. Now, this movie's so bad that I'm gonna need Andy's help with some of the amazing Mark Wahlberg lines here. Andy,
it. Okay,
what is
good.
the first line that we hear in this movie?
Hey, is that a monkey piloting a spaceship? This movie's gonna be wicked cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, here we go. The best this hyper advanced state of human being can come up with to pilot these fucking planes is a monkey. Not a drone, not AI,
No remote control.
not a remote control. We gotta train gene enhanced, chromosome enhanced monkeys to do this. Why?
Why?
Is it ever explained in this movie why they're doing this research program? In
But
deep
They're
also-
space?
closest to humans.
Also, this intro of the movie, like the first lines uttered by Marky Mark, I physically I was like, this is like already some of the worst line delivery I've ever heard.
What was it?
I don't even know. It definitely wasn't this though. It wasn't. This movie's gonna be wicked cool. But like, I immediately thought, Nick, that Tim Burton watched Boogie Nights and was like, we got to get that guy. But it's like when you're it's like when a team is terrible and they have a really good basketball player because somebody's got to score points, and you take that player off and you're like, oh, we need that player on our team, and it's like, oh, this player actually sucks. They were just like decent in there. Boogie Nights was
Big fish, small pond.
Boogie Nights was like not good because of Marky Mark.
Right,
And I don't know
right.
if Tim Burton knew that at the moment. And yeah, immediately I'm like, holy shit, terrible. And I loved just this blast from the past because these are all actors, Tim, I haven't seen in 2 goddamn decades.
Yeah.
Everybody on screen right now was like, holy shit, I haven't seen any of y'all in a
All
long
of them.
time.
It is. And of course, Mark Wahlberg, we're kicking this movie off. The monkey loses the simulation. You think to yourself, this monkey doesn't seem smart enough to ever pilot a fucking space.
He really doesn't.
Like an airplane, let alone or maybe we put him on the little spaceship outside of the supermarket, pull a quarter and see how he does first. I
Do you
digress.
think this monkey has the potential to be a monkey god?
No, well, this
revered?
isn't the monkey god. This is Pericles. The monkey god is Simos, the other monkey we see in here that I think was pregnant with
Okay.
Pericles'
Yeah.
son.
Joey.
This is a chicken and egg kind of situation. Did this movie come out first, or did the Tang commercials with the monkey in the spacesuit come out first?
I think Tang.
Okay.
I'd like to believe
They just saw that
copied
and they were like, we could make a movie.
Potentially.
I'd like to
from
believe that.
What
yeah,
I
I'd
was
like to believe
immediately
that.
reminded of, Joe, were all the times that,
Dunstan checks
that
in.
TBS's Superstation would do movie parodies with monkeys as the stars. Do you remember?
The
Does
peas and
anybody
cornbread?
remember?
Yes, I do. I
The what?
recall.
Peas and cornbread.
No. It's like commercial breaks. They'd be like, they would do a short of here's Die Hard if all the actors were monkeys. Here's a parody of Men in Black or whatever the hell it
Yeah.
was. You know what I mean? And it was like it was such a weird place in time.
Dinner in a
thing.
movie. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the theme song was on peas and cornbread. Like they're doing the song would play as like an intro and outro to these like weird bits where people would talk about the movies, and then they'd be watching weird monkey parodies.
Yeah, you'd see.
I remember Dinner in a Movie. I don't remember the monkey parody.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the monkey parodies are very very important.
Now,
important.
Yeah.
Joey, in fact, I don't think we can possibly go on with this review until you go watch all the monkey parodies, and we'll come back. We'll be right back, everyone. Anyway, we're on the USS or USAF, it's an Air Force Oberon Space Research Station. What they're researching apparently is monkeys. The year is 2029.
Yep.
Just 5 little years away from where we're at right now.
We'll
Just in
get
case
there.
you're doing
The
the
future's
math.
gonna be great, man.
The
So
monkey
many monkeys.
technology is where it needs to be to get there.
I mean, these monkeys don't seem any less or more smart than normal monkeys, so I think we're there, honestly. I think between that and the Tesla Cybertruck, we're fucking ready to rock. We're ready to destroy the Earth. He goes downstairs, and there's this lady that kind of gives him shit, and I guess they have a back and forth, but she's like, hey, Pericles, your wife's pregnant, and wife is Simos, I think. Maybe I'm making that up. And Mark Wahlberg's like, I guess he's flirting with her, or maybe he hates her. I don't know, because Mark Wahlberg's so bad at getting across an emotion with this.
He's giving nothing.
He just feels like an asshole the whole time. Of course,
this actress and the bald dude, like, holy shit. I haven't seen y'all on screen since I turned on Disney Channel as a 14-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been so long since I've seen them.
Of course, Mark Wahlberg has a back and forth with her where she challenges him about how good Pericles is, and he says, what, Andy?
He's a gene splice chromosome enhanced state-of-the-art monkey.
State-of-the-art monkeys, Tim. That's what we're selling today.
Monkey.
Folks, if you'd like to buy a state-of-the-art monkey, head over at kindoffunny.com/store, where we sell t-shirts, which are much more useful. Of course, they all get a call. He gets a call from his family. Everything's great. It's like, what the fuck do we need this scene for? Obviously, to put some sort of stakes when he loses, but nobody cares. The lights go out due to a massive electronic magnetic storm on the horizon. Presumably, we're studying this, or maybe this is just a phenomenon. We don't know. They don't seem to know what's going on here, so I imagine the whole thing is just these monkeys. We're just trying to train monkeys in space. This is your taxpayers' dollars hard at work here. We at this point, I assume we just solved world hunger and poverty, right, and famine and all that stuff, right? So what do we got left, Andy?
All the heavy hitters solved.
No more climate problems, no more poverty, no more war. What are we going to do next? We have cure cancer or teach monkeys how to pilot a fucking spaceship.
It's so funny to just see him in there and being like, just hitting fucking switches here. Like, this dude has no idea what it's the Labrador meme of, like, I have no idea what I'm doing in front of the computer.
So stupid.
Now, Andy, I just want to let you know that I do now have the script pulled up for this.
Yeah.
And the way that they frame it is, into frame, a long fur-covered finger punches buttons on the board in a precise series.
Oh.
Like, these monkeys know what they're doing, everybody.
But you got to show, don't tell.
We really got a show, don't tell, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, the captain here, who we also haven't seen since 2001.
Yeah.
This guy's great.
Who is it?
He was a dad in something. He was a dad in Even Stevens, I think.
Oh,
He's always
that guy.
either a dad or a senator or like the boss or something like that. He's just been in everything. He's like, hey, we got to send your monkey out to study this thing. And again, why? Send out don't these things pilot themselves? Can't you just send this thing into it?
Is this where they get like the weird video message where it's like
Yes.
all time at once and like fucking Hitler's there? And it's like, I don't know that you needed to show that.
We don't.
Like, this is a lot, man.
Well, we had to get across this thing fucks with time.
Yeah.
somehow. We also get a message from the Oberon from the future, which is weird, but we get that. They sent back. It's all timed, all messed up in this thing. So they send the monkey out. Mark Wahlberg's like, no, I'll go instead. And he's like, no, you are a fucking highly trained captain or colonel, whatever you are, in the U.S. Air Force. You're training. No, we'll send the monkey. So they send the monkey. And lo and behold, Pericles gets lost immediately.
Monkey just
Immediately.
fucking floating
Monkey
up.
goes off and then immediately goes, there's a surge in his heart rate. He's scared. He's gone.
That's all it took.
Oh my God.
We're like at this point 4 minutes into the movie, I think, and I wrote down, "Oh no." That's all I could write.
Of course, hold on, Andy. I just copied one more thing in there. I totally forgot.
Okay, yeah,
This
yeah.
next line. Of course, Mark Wahlberg does not take this sitting down. Captain's like, "Where are you going?" And he says,
I'm going to go get my chimp. Never send a monkey to do a man's job. Say hi to your mother for me, all right?
he finds Alpha Pod and he just goes out there and gets smacked by the energy bolt and disappears. Moments later, his pod gets smacked again with the energy bolt, and he's in a new system. He gets sucked into a vortex. Oberon receives a mayday from what looks like their older selves. Mark Wahlberg crash lands on a foreign-looking planet that
Dagobah.
looks a hell of a lot like Earth. What's that?
He just lands in Dagobah.
Yeah.
He lands in the swamps of Dagobah. His pod, of course, sinks to the bottom of a lagoon, but he makes it out alive and says, Andy,
Hey, it looks like this is my new planet now. I wonder if they have a Wahlburger.
The note that I have here is this is the first action scene in the jungle here. This is bad. This is a bad reboot.
Yeah. So Chris Christopherson is here now, who I will always love because I grew up watching. He was just always around because he was a singer and an actor.
Was he in Butter? No. What
He was in
A
A Star Is Born with Barbara Streisand. He was in a lot of other stuff. But I always loved Chris Christopherson for two reasons. One, I love anyone whose name is Chris something.
Of course.
Come on, that's cool.
How many
Except
are
for Chris
there?
Christie. I'm not a huge fan of Chris
Oh,
Christie.
I guess
But I
that's
will
true.
say that like Chris Christopherson is super cool.
Gotcha.
Andy Anderson, maybe think about changing your name, Andy.
Chris Reeves.
Andy Anderson.
Pretty sick.
Lead character Kate Hudson in How to Lose a Guy How
Oh.
to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Wow.
But more importantly, I will always love Chris Christopherson because he played the sidekick in Wesley Snipes' Blade. He was Whistler. Whistler, I think it was.
Yeah.
Badass.
You know what I loved is immediately seeing this Chris Christopherson guy. Kind of reminds you. I mean, we just did an interview where like super disheveled person. This human, long hair, beard, looking like they're struggling out there. Next person pop in, hottest Molly you've ever seen in your life, and it's just it was so funny. The difference in those like immediate shots. I'm like, what? This doesn't like. She looks like she just like got out of makeup. Like it looks hilarious.
We have an old, weathered ass man and a woman that looks like she stepped out of a fancy salon in Beverly Hills.
It's ridiculous, dude. I laughed so hard because it was like. They didn't even try to make her look like she's been struggling out here.
No. Not at all. And the amount of times there's a shot that's followed, like the editing in this movie is maybe the worst I've ever seen. Like they'll show you something and then they'll cut to something else that like it's things like that where I'm like, you're building a vibe and then you immediately 180 it. So it's just weird to then see the two things together. Many of the jump shots that we'll talk about of these monkeys jumping around are incomprehensible to understand what's going on. Like the amount of times a monkey will just jump kind of towards the screen a little bit, but it's never actually, it's always like off in a weird way.
Mark Wahlberg look.
They're just getting pulled. Mark Wahlberg looks a completely different way, and then it'll just cut and he's in a cage. And it's like, why didn't you show him being put in the cage instead of showing a monkey being launched through the fucking sky for the 5th time?
You'll never see anybody land in this movie.
Never.
It's always like
unless it's on a horse.
Somebody gets knocked and they're flying through the air on the shitty wire, and the camera cuts and they just slowly like roll on the ground. It's awful, man.
They all, of course, get caught here. And at first I'm like, oh, interesting. I forgot that in this movie, none of the humans can speak English either. I think it was just that because they get brought into town and I was like, oh, humans. But they speak fluent English. And they are totally able to speak to monkeys, which now let's tear down what the main theme of this movie is, right? This movie is sort of about equality. It's sort of about like, is animal rights, but more realistically, it's like, hey, we have physical slaves here. Should they be released? Should they be treated as equal? Should they be allowed to have their own culture? Of course, we draw the comparison between us having monkeys as sort of like lab rats or pets or keeping them in zoos. But there's one small difference between that situation and this situation. And that if a monkey turned to me and said, hey, Nick, it'd be pretty fucking cool if you let me out of this cage. I'd be like, we should probably let that monkey out of this fucking cage.
Yeah.
This thing can talk to me, right?
Yeah.
They're like, they can't have their own society and culture. I'm like, I think they can, guys, because they're speaking fluent English. You can understand them. They can do everything we can do. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just a weird way to set up a movie.
Do you think that they learned English, the monkeys, in a cage like Splinter learned martial arts?
I like to think, actually, that they learned their English from Matthew Broderick in the movie Project X, which is a movie none of you have seen before.
Correct.
But it's really, really good. And it's Helen Hunt and Matthew Broderick, and it's about the same concept that this movie is, minus the time travel and going to another place. It's him. He works in a lab. She works in a lab with monkeys. They're teaching them sign language. And then the monkeys are all going to be executed, basically. I guess they're testing like nuclear weapons on these monkeys.
What about Congo?
And so Matthew Broderick lets them out at the very, very end. And it's really sad because it's a Harry and the Hendersons moment where the monkeys wants to
Nick,
come back.
are you sure?
Project X.
That's
Two
the
different
movie.
Project X's. One was a party movie. The other one was called Project X. Sorry, important
cool.
safety note.
Cool. Yeah,
Look up Project X from like 1987. Yeah,
1987. An Air Force pilot joins a top secret military experiment involving chimps, but begins to suspect there might be something more to the mysterious Project X.
And there was
very different than the 2012 film Project X, which was a party movie.
The party movie.
Kids
Yeah.
throwing the best party of all
That's
time.
always confused me. Like, how are you just allowed to make a movie named after another movie?
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Why is that
Like if
allowed?
it's not a remake. Or
Is that like
something?
copyright or I don't know? Like
I don't know how that works.
I'm just making a movie called X-Men. You know, like
Yeah, you should. You should make a movie called Batman.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. Wow, Paula Giamatti's in this movie too. And so is Helen Bonham Carter. And Joey already hit the nail right on the head on this. For some reason, they gave her a wig fashioned after Sandra Bullock's haircut in the movie Speed.
It's the wispy bangs.
It's so bad and off-putting
What-
and
Get that picture
weird.
again.
what could have made this movie a lot less worse was
I like that it's less worse and not better.
not having because like if any of the other apes in this movie, if I saw an ape that had a fucking side part with a fade. Like that would maybe make sense, but she's the only one with a haircut.
Yeah.
And like nobody needs to have that in the like they just all needed to be apes. And they needed to
How else would you know it's Helena Bonham Carter?
They well cuz you know, that's a great point. Because of the accent, and she also, you know, she just kind of looked like her. I could see her in the eyes. But what they also needed to remove was any semblance of love. We just needed her to be sympathetic to humans.
Yeah, her being horny for Mark Wahlberg was a vibe.
Like,
She was so fucking horny, and she just wanted to touch anything she could. In a weird way.
Like, for anybody who's watching this in review, because we have a lot of people who watch interviews that don't watch the movies.
yeah, it's weird.
I need you to like. We're not exaggerating when we say like she's horny for Mark Wahlberg. This isn't.
it is
This is an
fuck me
like
eyes,
people
for
called
sure.
her in the beginning like a human lover, and I was like, oh, she's probably like the only one defending humans. Good for her in this world, like trying to stick up for the people who have been like beaten and broken down. And then Mark Wahlberg's holding her at like knife point, like I'll fucking kill her, you know, if you don't let me out of here. And she starts like rubbing his hand. And I was like, what? And he's like, help me out of here. And she's like, okay. And it's just so freaky.
See?
And I was like, maybe I'm not reading the situation right, Tim. But no,
No.
it gets worse and
It's
worse.
Sonic 06,
The
man.
horniness gets worse and worse.
The horniness prevails throughout the entire
Yeah.
movie. Of course, Mark Wahlberg gets brought back to the camp. We meet Thade, whose niece wants a little baby human. This is a fucking weird, fucked up scene. Baby apes are freaky. And the fact that this baby ape has a human ape, weird.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of, and that's the kind of vibe that I'm like, I wish they lean more into that. The off-putting, shocking, weird shit. And we dip a toe into that like we dipped into like with parts of Beetlejuice where they go to the underworld and you're like, this is kind of fucked up if it wasn't so fun with like
Yeah.
the shrinking heads and people dead.
Or
and the
even
dead
like an
football team.
Edward Scissorhandy,
So,
like
yeah.
fish out of water.
Like, I wish
kind of
we
thing.
had that vibe where Tim Burton was so good in the late 80s and early 90s at showing us a mood that had never been seen before. Like you break down Edward Scissorhands, you're like, that's a movie I never want to watch. Should be a horror movie, but it's a movie where you get to the end of it and you're like, I'm fucking crying right now because this guy made me care about a dude that was made with scissor hands and can't fit into normal society. Interesting. The rest of this movie weird. Mark Wahlberg gets brought to the house. He is now one of the servants in the house, and downstairs we meet Stella Warden's there. She's been broken up with from Chris Christopherson. She's got to go with her family, all that jazz. We meet Ari, who she bought both of them because she's like, I don't want humans to get mistreated. I'll buy both of them. She's the daughter of like the president of that runs all of Ape Town. I don't know what it's called. Let's call it Ape Town. I do think there is a small caste system with the apes and the chimps because I think Ari is a
it's
chimp.
ape cod.
Come on, fucking put that up.
Got you, homie. Got you, big dog.
Jesus Christ, that was good. That was good, Tim. I'm gonna stare at you. I'm gonna stare at you
Yeah,
until
it
you
was good.
recognize
It was good.
I'm gonna rub this glass and stare at you like Helen Bonham Carter rubbed his leg the entire time. She's like, "Yes, what does that thing do?" All right, so we're gonna clip along here. Mark Wahlberg steals a knife. We get this little dinner where they're arguing about human rights and how they should all just be wiped out. Thade wants to wipe them all out. Ari wants to set them all free and tell them they can have. She's like, "Look at this scarf. They made this, and granted, very ornate scarf. Like these humans are very capable of doing whatever they want them to do." But the apes are like obviously just want to keep them enslaved because they like that.
I love the one human who is like the servant with the king and all that. Like he's the least disrespected because he's like one of the humans that's allowed to live in the house and he's not like in shitty
Yeah, he was like
conditions.
born and raised in the house.
But I love that
He's a house human.
Like I just remember him from a lot of Adam Sandler movies where he's just always like a weird guy that they cut to make a funny face. I think he's in Mr. Deeds actually.
I think he's in Deeds, and I don't want to get this wrong, but I want to say he was in Encino Man, and I think he's the No Wheeze and the Juice guy.
Always goes
But I
back.
could be wrong on that.
Wait, I thought the Wheeze and the Juice guy was fucking what's his name?
It's 6
The Pauly
degrees of
Shore.
wheezing the juice.
Well, okay, so let me explain. In Encino Man, okay, sorry, we gotta dial this back, Joey.
I don't know what you
Wheeze
guys are
in the
talking
Juice, as defined by one early 90s Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
Is when you walk into a 7-Eleven or an AM/PM, I can't remember which one it was, and you stick your face underneath the slushy machine and you open it up and you wheeze the juice, right? Which means you eat some of the slushy for free. And there was a super fun moment that had to do with very, very early 90s racism where he goes, I'm wheezing the juice, and the guy that runs the store is like he does the voice where it's like no wheezing the juice, but he's It's very, very fucked up.
Is it one of those like Middle Eastern sort of?
Yeah, it's a stereotype of Middle Eastern,
okay.
and then Pauly Shore's like, and so it both sounds like they're like. Anyway, that's where that comes from. But Pauly Shore saying it is not racist. It's just the fact that they always had to have that one character that was in it that was very culturally insensitive.
Because this also sounds very much like the Cheese Whiz character from Goofy Movie, which is also Pauly Shore. Is that like
it is a direct
callback reference thing? Okay,
perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just got my
tower.
Let's, I'm just gonna put this up for. Let me just double check because I might be. It is
Matthew Hidalgo. Why do we always come back to Pauly Shore?
It's ridiculous.
Not that guy. Ready?
All right, we're waiting for the guy.
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice. No,
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy. It's No Weasel and the Juice guy.
Wow. It all connects, everybody.
Madam Web.
Wow. Web connects them all.
Anyway, guys, don't wheeze the juice.
Yeah.
And also, if you're writing a screenplay, don't write any stereotypes in the screenplay. Let's get away from that. Anyway, Leo's like, we got to get out of here. And he hears, we have the super creepy part, which I actually like. First off, Tim Roth was a fucking bad motherfucker in the 90s.
I do have a note. Tim Roth, MVP of this
Bad
movie.
motherfucker.
Like, he makes it hard to like him at
makes
all.
it really hard.
But by the end of it, I was like, you know what? You're kind of cool.
When he kills those two dudes,
Like, come on, man.
that was the only
Brutal.
cool part.
I
it was
like
barely cool.
I like this part where he's like, the humans have souls, and he's like, and he grabs Mark Wahlberg's fucking face, and he
rips
goes, "Where's your soul? I don't see your soul in there, human." Wild. Of course, they escape. As they're escaping or plotting their escape, Thade gets an alert from two of his guys. Hey, we got some crazy shit to show you. And when they go down, he shows them the sort of crash site. Thade realizes something's crazy. He should keep it to himself, so he immediately kills his own guards. Bad guy, smart guy. Mark Wahlberg and the team try to escape. I'm just gonna kind of clip along here. They grab Chris Christopherson and a bunch of other people, and for no reason, Chris Christopherson's like, "Hey, one ape sees me. I have to sacrifice my life for you." And Estella Warren's like, "No, Dad." And you're like, "Oh, Dad. Okay, I think that's." Maybe.
Oh, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
We don't really know. He sacrifices his life. They make it out.
You
of
skipped
course.
one of my lines, Nick.
Oh, I apologize. The guy, the Weasel and the Juice guy.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. Is like, he was like, "Hey, we got to get." He's like, "We got to get out of here." And the guy says, "They see you on the streets. They'll kill you on sight."
And then Mark Wahlberg says, "You stay here. You're already dead. Unlike the Boston Celtics, who were in the playoffs still, because they beat the Miami Heat." I added that.
I didn't write that last part. Okay,
I was like, man, Nick's really into basketball.
that's really good. Of course,
Also,
I'm
Weasel
from
the
Boston.
Juice guy is Eric Avari.
Eric Avari. He's been in a ton of shit. That guy's been in a lot. of
His
stuff.
face is so familiar.
Very, very. But we'll call him Weasel the Juice guy now because I'm
Okay.
basic. So they escape, but they escape with Ari and Krull. Krull, of course, being Carrie. I want to say, dang it, I had his name.
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung. We'll call him Shang Tsung.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat series. He's like, we shouldn't be doing this. But she's like, yes, we should. Of course, we get to water. It's established that apes hate water. They can't swim. Mark Wahlberg goes down there, got his little knapsack. He's got a gun. Limbo finds them, who's played by Paul Giamatti. And he shoots him, and it's like, oh, this is
come on.
crazy.
Can we just talk about Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti's great.
Yeah.
We just call him John Paul Giamatti.
No, but I will from now on.
He man, what a funny guy, just in general.
John Paul Giamatti, you son of a
But
bitch.
seeing him in this with this fucking makeup, the amount of times he's just in the background of a shot like this, like
Just making a weird face. Yeah. He's just.
Now,
He looks like he had fun.
he looks like he had fun.
Yeah.
well,
Yes.
he got to, I think, he got the easy side of the stick in that he's an orangutan, so he doesn't have to have the big mouth pooch. Like Michael Clark Duncan, on the other hand.
I don't like that you called it a mouth pooch.
Mouth pooch.
I'm just gonna say that.
What do you want? What else would we call him?
I
Mouth
don't
dome?
know.
That's the milk mommy.
This is like,
That's the
come
milk
on,
mommy.
dude.
That is the milk mommy face.
All right.
We know what to do. They
People in the
know what to
audience,
do.
you know what to do.
Tweet it, Barrett. Tweet it at
Be
Barrett right
excited.
now.
Where are you?
There you are, Ben. What's going on?
I would also like to give a shout out. Is it Michael Clark Duncan that's also
Yes.
in this?
Yes,
He is
rest
the-
in peace.
Those are the two people whose voices come through immediately,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, these people are not here to play.
Krull, of course, takes the gun and smashes it against a rock. He's like, that could be used against us. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like a total throw the gun out of the window moment. Let's see. Before Thade gets the news that all this shit went wrong, and he's like, he talks the senator or his dad into like martial law. But before he can ride off, he gets called by his father. Of course, this is where we find Charlton Heston. We get this great cameo from him where he's laying in bed. He has 5 lines, one of which is, I apologize, Andy, this is supposed to be yours, but I'll say,
Guess they're not mucking around anymore.
That's good too, but no, that's later.
Oh, that's later. Okay.
That's really good, but don't spoil that for later.
Okay.
He tells them the real history. He says, we were the slaves of the humans. And the humans were the masters. To prove he's right, Zaius, who was his name, shows Thad the other blaster that was hidden in this urn that was from years ago. We learn the history. Of course, Semos has come here. Semos is their god. Semos is one that started everything that was thousands of years ago. Humans have always been bad, whatever. And he goes, you must find the humans before they get to Kalimar, the Forbidden Series, which holds all the secrets. Forbidden Area, which holds all the secrets that could undo all of them. And then he says, damn them all to hell, which is, of course, his famous line at the end of the original Planet of the Apes.
A lot going on here, right? The introduction of Kalima, and I'm like, all right, what's this going to be?
Isn't that from
Kalima,
Shaktima? Isn't that from Indiana Jones?
Temple of Doom.
Kalima.
And all of it, I'm like, all right, knowing the original Planet of the Apes vaguely, understanding we're on Earth here and all of that stuff, I was like, Kalima, like California, maybe, like whatever. Did not see where they were going with it, and when they revealed it, I was like, "Shut the fuck!"
That can't be the only place that's written.
Can't be it. Like, are you serious?
Wait,
right
why?
now?
What am I missing?
Just
the fact that it's tiny.
No.
On the ship, like the origin,
reveal
like,
of Kalima.
Oh,
it was like, oh
Caution live animals.
God,
right.
dude.
Like it's just you see Kalima, and he's like, "Oh, let me just dust." Like
Right.
you don't think they thought to dust anything
They
away?
treat it like this big reveal, but it's
It's so lame.
mind blowing.
Well, they don't get technology. And that's the one thing that's the apes' downfall.
You're right.
Is they're just not capable of figuring out technology like the humans are. That's
No,
why they're
but it was
scared.
just dirt on a wall.
Yeah, I know. You'd think that also they would like
Yeah.
warp off some of the other ship. It's been thousands of years. You're just not supposed to go there.
ruined.
I think the idea was that whoever found this originally was like, oh, I get this could undo us all, so we'll just keep everyone away from that. And they just who the hell knows?
Who the fuck knows, man? But we did this whole scene. There's a lot to talk about because we get them. We kind of see a little bit more of like the monkey location they're in, and they're walking by, and there's little monkey rockers doing monkey drugs. You know what I'm talking about? And then they get into this room, and then there's a chandelier, and they're monkey fucking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just didn't expect to see that in this movie at all.
The monkey fuck scene was awesome.
It was crazy, dude.
I wonder how much of that was left on the editing floor because you have to imagine there was some kinky shit going on.
They were going
Oh,
for
yeah.
it, man.
Throw shit at each other.
You know how many nipples they have?
19.
I have no idea how many
I don't
nipples
know.
they
I
have.
think they just have 2. They're like
Pandas
humans.
have 6 fingers.
Just like
That's
the
the
guy,
wrong series.
just like the
Panda
guy
Bugs.
that killed Monk's wife,
Monk.
Adrian Monk.
Wow.
Adrian
It all
monkeying
connects, everybody.
around. Just finished it last night. Gonna watch the movie tonight. Very excited.
We don't care.
Great ending. Great ending. Great 2-part ending.
I didn't know we could just give life updates. In this show.
Me and Roger are starting White Collar. Watch out for the interview series on that as soon as Tim agrees to it. Let's see. Faye gets the bad news. Man, can he jump high? As soon? Okay, sorry, Andy. I'm sorry.
I love that you can just jump around at any point in this movie. Man, he could jump high, and that just wouldn't make sense.
Andy, I apologize. They
Yeah.
do at this point assemble the entire army and set off after Leo.
Guess they're not monkeying around anymore.
God.
Say it to the camera.
Guess they're not monkeying around anymore.
I'm a good writer. You're a good actor. We're a good
Good
team.
writer.
We should make. You know what we should do? You gotta believe in yourself.
I guess the barrier for writing is very low after watching this movie.
It's like when he was writing the Crash Bandicoot song, and he was like, "Someone write this down."
Bandicoot.
It's stuck in your head. You remembered it, right?
He is the creature of the night.
I think he, I think he was protector of the night. Andy, I'll just save this one for later, but just keep this in your back pocket. What if you and me made an unofficial, unauthorized Mark Wahlberg biopic? You star as Mark
I
Wahlberg.
could buy the bodysuit, like buy the abs.
No,
and
don't
stuff.
change the thing about yourself.
Oh.
You're just gonna be Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
It's more about the vibe.
Walk around with the white underwear.
Drop your pants every once in a while.
Was
like
it
Marky
Haynes or
Mark.
Fruit of the Loom? What was he?
Think?
Was he Calvin
Calvin Klein. Oh, Calvin Klein.
Okay, folks, we're gonna skip right along here because I don't want. I refuse to let this in-review be longer than this fucking movie. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna happen. Let's see. We get, of course, the Kalima. We've got a couple. Oh no, we have to do the scene where it's a totally useless scene where they ride through the village first, and then he saves Ari by swimming her on his back.
Stupid as hell.
Just
Like
like
I
can't
don't.
swim.
Dude, all of it's so fucking bad.
This is
Although,
all. This is all just forced like conflict.
we need a scene. We need
Yeah.
to do something here. I do love though. Apes can't swim. That's why every day we pray for rain.
And that really. And you looked at all the apes
So
around her, and it
fucked.
was like, ooh, they're not happy about that
Oh,
statement.
no.
Yeah,
We get a little backstory on Krull here, who used to be the general until he opposed Thade, and then Thade kind of ostracized him. Now he's just a bodyguard for Ari. Dinah? Oh, what is Estelle Warren's character's name? Dana, it doesn't matter.
No one knows.
Dinah from now on.
So I
gets
did have
mad.
a question here, though. So apes can't swim.
No.
Which made me go down a rabbit hole. This is definitely a science with Kev situation. I don't know if Kev's not here, but
Science with Kev.
I'm Kevin.
I don't know if this is based in reality or not. But like, would you have bet, can apes swim or not?
I would bet they can,
I think
right?
they
Yeah, I'd say yes.
can.
Yeah, I'd say yes too.
But I've never seen
What
one.
about horses?
Horses can swim.
Have you ever thought about it?
I mean,
Not
well,
until he said, "Don't worry, horses are great swimmers."
Yeah.
can horses swim, or are they just tall enough to walk through
think it
bodies
is.
of water?
Joey. So that's where I've just never thought about this. Horses
Yeah.
swimming. Just never crossed my
put
mind. Never something I had to worry about.
Put
you
a
know?
horse in the ocean, the
Great
legs just
question.
link.
I can't hear you guys.
What's up?
Oh, there you go. Can apes swim?
Yeah.
They have higher muscular like density than we do, so I'd imagine swimming might be harder.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, because like
Like,
flotation.
Like they don't
less,
have the
you put less in
buoyance?
water, he just sinks.
What about a horse?
A horse. I believe horses can swim.
So I have it on good authority. I had to pause this movie because I had to find something more fun to do. And I was like, can horses swim? Because I was like, or do they just walk on the floor and they're a little taller than most people? They have the long necks, so they're good. No, there's a lot of videos of horses fucking swimming, dude. And
Yeah,
not
dude.
seahorses. I'm talking about horses.
Yeah.
Like,
Look,
It's crazy.
This
I
horse in a
guess
pool.
someone did the research.
Horse in a pool.
Yeah, dude. There's a
but-
lot of horses in pool videos. Way more than you would expect.
I'll be real.
But
If we had a
isn't
pool.
that still just
Hold on,
walking on
hold
the
on.
bottom of the pool?
Hold on, Nick just showed this to us like he just fucking cracked the case. Like
Horse in a pool.
He
Gotcha, God.
He looked so proud of himself. The look he gave was like, look at this shit. Horse in a pool.
Horse in a fucking pool, y'all.
Don't you all feel stupid?
But like, look at this guy. It's like, all right, cool. He's walking on the floor. Now he's swimming. He's just swimming.
I guess
It's like a big dog.
In my
It's cool.
head, when you're asking me if animals can swim, I'm mostly thinking about like head underwater swimming. I'm not really thinking about head above water
the
because it
Godzilla.
seems like the holding of the breath would be hard to teach an animal. I don't really know. But apparently, if that's not an issue, I guess a lot of them can do that.
Kevin, is Kevin still in there?
No.
Okay. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to ask Kevin a very important question. You can continue, though.
All right. Well, Stella Warden's character gets
We
really
should wait
mad
for
when she
Tim.
realizes that Leo. Well, I mean, Joey still has to go watch those videos.
Yeah, that's right. Kevin or Barry, when in your free time, can you pull up the Turner
TBS?
Broadcasting Station TBS monkey movie parodies? Thank you so much.
Perfect. Dana gets super mad when she realizes Leo will eventually leave. Then once he finds his friends. Okay. They
I just
finally.
have to make a confession.
Okay.
I'm so not invested in this movie that I could not tell you a single name of a character.
Me
in
either.
this.
Well, Leo is the name. His name is Leo. Is Mark Wahlberg's character's
No.
name, Leo.
No way.
No way.
Yeah.
I would have gone with Johnny.
Johnny's a badass name. Jake, another cool name. Jack, pretty sick. Leo. Anyway, they finally get to the lost city of the Temple of Doom and Kalima, and what do they find? Oh my god, I think I found a spaceship.
Well, the radar was pulling him there the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, his little
It's a
radar,
mirage.
this little useless thing that he
Yeah.
found from his thing. Let's see. He gets in, he fires up the ship, which is supposed to have a nuclear power source that, quote, lasts forever, Andy. So this ship will always be powered, even though the fuel cells are dying. You think if you had a nuclear power source that lasted forever, you would use that nuclear power source to...
I'm sorry, audio listeners. Bear pulled up the monkey pair.
This is one of them. This is Planet of the Humans.
Planet of the Humans. There's a lot of monkeys in human
Oh my
masks.
chimps, yeah,
This
but-
is perfect.
On top of, there's a lot
But-
of wigs.
But I definitely
on top of
remember
horses.
I definitely remember the Titanic parody was one that like everybody lost their shit at. Like this was stuff that was capturing a nation. This was
Comedy used to be so simple.
on the level of the Guy Go Caveman. Like in terms of a whole nation rallying around a message, like
Yeah.
everybody was super stoked about these monkey parodies because it was, here we go. Here's the Titanic freaking monkey parody right here. And their mouths would just move and then they would just have voices there.
Andy, if you want to go down a nostalgic trip tonight, there's just a YouTube playlist full of every single one.
Yeah, there's
Now we get
Rose.
the grandma?
There's roses.
You guys stop putting lipstick on a monkey, folks. We can't be doing shit like that anymore.
I mean, the wig looks better than Helena Bonham Carter's.
God,
That's
it so
true.
does.
Man,
Okay,
that monkey's got some chompers.
Tim, we found the monkey parody.
You're
movie
welcome, Tim.
Videos, by the way. Great
Yeah,
job,
it's ready
Barry.
for you.
I got to see Planet of the Humans and the Titanic one.
Oh, dude, I remember the Titanic one.
Of course, we're at the ship now. He fires up. This ship has power. He uses the little hand device to open up the bridge. When he gets there, he sees that there's a message still waiting, but from the crew. And they came looking for Leo and crash landed. And the apes, led by Simos, figured some shit out, killed them all, and then probably fornicated a lot after that because just thousands of years later, we've got a whole planet full of apes. And Mark Wahlberg says,
Okay, let's go explain evolution to the monkeys.
"No, I put one else in there for you."
Oh my God, this is all my fault.
Good line.
Good line.
Good line.
Great writer.
Do you think one thing that I found satisfying, but also kind of gross, just based on like where my brain took it, was like when he wanted to use the computer screen, it looked very satisfying to break up all the dirt on
the
the
crap
screen.
on there.
Yeah.
That looked really nice to do, but then I thought maybe that's monkey shit, old monkey shit.
Oh.
You know what I
It
mean?
might be. One time I was
Definitely.
out hiking in the in Arizona with my uncle and aunt, and I was like, "Oh, cool! Look at this rock! It breaks apart." And my uncle let me play with it for a solid few seconds before he was like, "That's horse dung." And I smelled it, Tim.
Great.
Sick.
You just
disgusting.
Going back to your other point, it is crazy that you have this infinite source of power.
He said
Just
he
gonna
just
let
straight
it-
drops this line. Oh, this ship is nuclear power. It's got a nuclear power source that lasts forever,
It's supposed to last forever.
but the fuel cells only get one blast. Where is the nuclear power source?
What is happening?
Are we worried at all about contamination? Because this ship did in fact crash.
This ship almost landed. This ship's nuclear power source almost lasted longer than the Patriots dynasty. I love Tom Brady.
Wow. Let's not talk about Deflategate.
That was good. Nick
Thank
dropping
you.
a little sports reference.
There it
I
is.
think.
The army comes, and Leo tells everyone it's time to scatter, get the hell out of there. Because, but then Stella Warden's like, just like Richard Gere and Officer and a Gentleman, they don't have any other place to go. Where are they going to go? They're here. And he's like, the army's going to come for us, guys.
I
Everyone's
thought of
gonna
that reference the same thing. You and I were right there. I was
Yeah.
thinking the same
leave.
thing.
Great writer, you're a great actor. We should make a good team. Let's see. Before all this shit goes down, Kroll's like, hold on, I got an idea. I'm gonna bring Ari to Atar so she can speak to Thade. She kind of tries to bargain with him. She's like, Thade, I've come to bargain. And then he was like, no, and he fucking
Audio listeners, he moved his jaw a lot there.
Yeah.
bargain.
He fucking brands her hand.
Brands her hand.
Oh,
Sends her packing
brutal.
and says, you tell Mark Wahlberg that we're gonna wait till morning and then we're gonna come get his ass. Mark Wahlberg's like, shit, what am I gonna do? This sucks. He has a conversation with Ari where they're there, and he's
It
like,
was a weird like time jump. I know they explained it perfectly well, but it was just so funny to see Ape with the bangs and the that wants to bang Mark Wahlberg.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately next scene, she's getting her hand branded by Thade. And then she's right back with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And it was
And then he gives the whole speech of like, on my planet, blah, blah, blah. That history is yours now. And it's like, holy shit, man. This is bad,
it
guys.
was awful.
they had this great little scene where she's like, we're the same. I can't go back. She's like, I can't go back to my planet. She goes, oh, I can't go back to my family either, my home either, because we're the same now. Because we're not the same. You actually care about everyone else but yourself, whereas I only care about myself, and that's why I have abs.
I obviously only care about myself.
Oh my god. Leah realizes, he's like, oh my god, we need to. I don't know how we're gonna beat these people. And he looks down and he sees that one fuel cell still has one more burst, and he's like, that's all we need. We're gonna fight back. He spots his opportunity. He rallies the troops and gives the worst speech ever. And he's really out of breath now. From the rest of the movie, he's just going to be really out of breath.
Oh yeah.
And it's off-putting for a man as fit as he is.
Yeah.
No one else is out of breath. Putting it out there.
Another thing that I want to talk explicit shit about is the landscapes in this movie. Like, they're just not interesting.
Nothing's
like, any
cool
of
to
the
look at.
locations we're in, they seem dull and boring. There's nothing about this that feels like well designed in the sense of like whether it's a future Earth or a different planet, somewhere in between. I'm not sure if they even know to this day. But like, none of it was cool. Like,
So
especially
uninspired.
when you look at like the most recent trilogy, so like I feel like every location was like, oh my god, what a cool concept here. Like seeing the fall of San Francisco and them going to Muir Woods or whatever. Like just like so many cool things. This just lacks any of that. And for it to be a blockbuster movie, it's like that's kind of why we watch this shit.
It feels like they spent all of their money on like the practical makeup and outfits and then had nothing left for anything else.
What
And it
about
was
the
like,
fight scenes?
What can we get?
No, we can't hire a fight choreographer. We'll just have like a dude punch a guy, and the next frame the guy's on the ground rolling. You know?
Yeah, I mean, the movie is definitely missing a sense of scale. And the new ones have that, right? Because they have those grand sweeping shots of Muirwood, San Francisco, decrepit. They have all that wonderful scenery. And this, you're like, is that the place where Captain Kirk fought the Gorlak in like episode 3 of Star Trek?
It does feel like
It's
those,
really
like
bad.
the Mimi Star Trek episode
It's
location.
just the
like,
desert
Power
outside of
Rangers
LA
shit,
where
dude.
they can drive to, right? Of course, he rallies the troops. He's like, everyone get behind the thing. We're going to blast them when they come forward. Thade brings his army and he sends the first wave out. And Mark's like, here we go.
It's kind
Here
of
we
cool.
go.
Him standing with his fucking army and sending out all the little guys. They're all like, ah! like
Right.
going. I was like, all
And he's
right.
like, oh my God. Like, as he's running. And that stupid fucking kid that we've seen 3 times.
Yeah, the fucking
He
horse
falls
falls on
over
him.
and they don't even want him there.
And the horse
No.
isn't even dead.
No.
Like everything about it's like you could have just not done this and they would have been fine.
It's fine. Anyway, the guys get close. And he's like, no. And the thing blows them all away. And they just get blown out into the fucking sky like ants.
I laughed so hard at this moment because you just see a bunch of chimps like silhouettes just scattering, just flying in the air. It was hysterical, dude.
For as bad as this movie is, from this point on, I laughed a lot.
Yeah.
And I will give it that. Whatever
I don't think they
credit that
meant
is.
for you to laugh at it. though.
They
But
were
I
just
laughed a lot.
they were flying, dude. But then the funniest part,
So stupid.
looking back in retrospect, is when they're all waiting there and the monkeys get back, like kind of like they start. These monkeys were feet within a massive explosion, and they start getting back up again. They're like, "Everybody go!" In that moment when they start waking up again, my brain tells me, like witnessing this, like, "Oh shit, they're invincible."
Yeah. There must be a reason they're showing them get
Why-
up from this rocket blast.
Like I was expecting them to go, "Oh my god, they're still alive! What the fuck?"
Yeah.
But I don't understand any of this. And like, what are we supposed to feel in this moment? Why did they wait for this moment?
they're kind of getting up. Attack again.
Now it's ready. Now we're ready. Like I don't understand what they were doing here.
But you know, and me neither, because his plan, and they have a line earlier where he's like, Krull's like, Thade's never gonna stop coming. He's like, yeah, I'm counting on it. But why? You only had one blast of this thing. It took out maybe max 100 apes, the first wave. What was your plan? Right? You see this, you go, they're fucked. There's no other way they can get out of this.
Well,
There's only like 100 humans, and they're not gonna beat 3,000 highly evolved, super strong apes.
Wait, no, I thought they mentioned that the humans highly outnumbered all of them.
I
Is
don't
that
know,
not-
dude, because we saw a
A
fucking
lot of-
Lord of the Rings like line of
wasn't the
of
plan
army
for them
coming.
to like shock and awe? Like, wasn't they're supposed to like, hey, we're gonna kill a bunch of them with a big blast, and that's gonna scare the rest of them?
Yeah, but then Krull goes, but Thade's never going to stop coming. And then Mark Wahlberg goes, yeah, I'm counting on it. And Thade's like, and Krull's like, why? Because if he doesn't stop coming, they're eventually going to kill you. I think it was like a last just ever sort of thing. But the way you set up,
I know they showed a shitload of apes, but I thought they had hinted that like, or maybe I'm thinking of A Bug's Life.
you might be thinking of A Bug's Life.
You know, when
I
they're
get
like,
it.
Very similar.
I get
where
it.
Hopper's like, there's a lot of fucking ants, and like if they banded together, ape together strong.
So anyway, they fight and they start losing. Krull goes against Attar. Attar's like, no, I'm going to kill you. He kills him. Krull, R.I.P. He's buried in the dirt. It looks, Mark Wahlberg goes up against Thade. It's not looking good for him. And then boom, fire in the sky.
Hold on, first off, I just want to say this entire fight scene, to Andy's point that we've made a lot, like the choreography is just piss poor. Like to
So
even
bad.
call it
So
choreography
bad.
is offensive. The momentum or lack thereof, any sense of like this movement caused that motion
Yeah.
is just not there. One of these damn apes kills a human and kind of just like goes like that, and it like on his spine, and like it seems to have like destroyed his spine. And I'm like, that monkey didn't seem that strong.
Ape together
though.
strong.
But it's like he was ape alone. You know, like it just
He was ape solo.
like, it was just very weird because it was like
Yeah.
I get what they were going for, but it just I didn't believe it. Like when you see the jump and the wire work type stuff, it's upsetting in this movie. But to see an actual melee attack look the way that a wire jump looks and like destroy a guy's spine, I don't know, man. I was like, this is a step too far.
I just immediately, after watching all of these terrible moments in this movie, I just thought back to that freaky little evil monkey with the one white eye walking up to the guys who were drinking, and they're like, "Oh fuck, it's an ape!" And he grabs a gun, and he's laughing, and he just fought. Like, what an amazing sequence that was! Like, just like the feeling that it made you feel, and all of this is like. It didn't even register on the Richter scale in terms of like none of this movie did nothing for me.
I think I would be getting more of those and not this one.
Yeah.
For now. You know what I'm talking about. It all gets interrupted. Pericles comes back. He has landed. And this is where Mark Wahlberg goes.
Okay, let's go explain evolution to the monkeys.
Right. And he takes him over and Thade's like, who gives a fuck? And beats his ass. And then Pericles runs into the ship. Mark Wahlberg runs
Why
after
did Pericles
him.
run to the ship?
I think he wanted to go back to his cage.
How did he know it was a ship?
Because he can see. I think monkeys just have extra senses.
Like, it didn't look like the ship at all. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. He knew he could probably smell his cage after 1,000 years. I imagine.
Everything about this is just asinine.
I did not understand why he ran over there.
No,
like,
it was
none of
weird.
this made
and
sense.
I get it. It's like, oh, he's going into his cage, but then you're like, but why? And how does he know? And what the fuck? And why did they treat this like a hero reveal? Like, it's so funny, man.
At this point, Atara's like, oh no, we've been lied to the entire time. Not sure quite how he knows that. I can't remember, but apparently he's like, I'm going to change sides, and now I'm against you as well. Thade pulls a gun on Mark Wahlberg after ragdolling Pericles into the fucking world.
Yeah.
You think he killed him, but I guess he was
Man.
just totally fine afterward. It's fine.
the shit punch out of it. That little chongle just flew, man. It was amazing.
And Thade's like, I'm going to kill you. And then Mark Wahlberg puts his hand in the thing and locks him in there forever. And Thade starts blasting. And I do love the shot of him when the smoke clears, hiding underneath the desk.
Oh, dude.
Oh, that was pretty cool.
Here's the thing. Amazing shot. Where to come from? What? I don't believe at all that this character that we've seen this entire movie would do that.
Is now
100%.
subservient.
Ever.
Like, yeah.
No.
It's so bizarre. It just goes out. I feel like that was part of a much better movie.
It's weird because I was like, oh, clearly the ricochet, one of the bullets is going to kill him because he doesn't understand technology. We've already set up that apes don't understand technology. That's why humans are dangerous to them. And no,
No.
doesn't happen.
He just kind of is in the room with the ricocheting bullet for like seemingly forever. That thing was bouncing.
Yeah.
You know? We get some smoke and then he just hide. Ah, man. Garbage.
From here, we go back out. And you know what? We got the pod found the coordinates to the storm that brought him here. And Ari asks him to stay, but he's like, I gotta leave now. It's my only chance to get back. And he says, and then she says to him in his very earnest and honest speech. And I actually do like this because she looks at him right before they kiss, and she says, one day they'll tell the story about how bad this movie is, and some will say it's just a fairy tale that it never really existed, but Tim will make us watch it.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Leo kind of kisses
I teared
her.
up during that speech. Yeah.
Leo kisses her. Tim kisses her, and
No.
then Tim kisses her, and then she goes like this, like kind of a horny.
I still don't understand the creative direction.
I don't
Fucking
know.
And then Leo's like, I guess because it's in the script, I'm gonna run over and kiss Dina, despite having had 3 scenes with this woman. They don't really know each other.
But what's more amazing is like
Zero chemistry.
Zero fucking
no,
chemistry.
but yeah, well, zero chemistry because there was nothing to have built anything on. Like there was never a sequence with her. Maybe like we went from step 1 to 12
Yep.
of like now she wants him and he kisses her and like, but we missed everything else in between. There was never ever another sequence that maybe like like she looked at him a certain way. The camera
Right.
focused on her when
Yeah.
when he said that one thing. She kind of gave him like the the horny eyes or whatever. None of that happened, and it was like out of nowhere. Maybe one day you'll come back. Like where's this
They'll
coming
tell stories
from?
about the spaceman.
You haven't talked like this at all. You know what I mean? It was very odd.
The one note I had is, oh man, he's monkey kissing.
Because she was like, Tim kissed me, and Tim was like, and then she goes like this.
Kiss the mouth pooch.
Oh, God. Don't talk about the mouth food.
Poochie poochie. So Mark Wahlberg goes off into space, and his little computer's like, here's what time it is inside of that thing. This is the time. And then he goes inside of the storm. And
That was your Joe Biden impression.
that-
That's
you
the,
have to-
that's where it is. That's whenever you try to do the Joe Biden impression. I'm like, that sounds like whenever you're emulating a random voice.
Oh, we gotta go to space. We gotta check out the storm. There's a storm in space. We gotta come across the aisle. Storm's in space. Storm's here. We gotta bring the storms together.
I told you. I'm so glad I feel vindicated right now.
Anyway,
Lordy Lord.
he crash lands on Earth, and he's like, cool. And he crash lands right in front of the Lincoln Memorial, but it's not Lincoln. He looks up, and it's Thade. And it's like, oh, in Thade we trust, and all the cop cars pull up, and they're wearing cool ass. You know why I like this scene, Tim? Because they're wearing leather jackets, like the cops from Gotham City in the 1989 Batman. Of
course
and
they
they
are.
pull their cop guns on him, and he's like, ha, ha. He kind of looks confused and stupid.
And then it's the end of the
that's
movie. It just fucking ends. Like, I see this, I'm like, oh shit, it's a monkey. Oh shit, it's Thade. Oh shit, there's monkey cops. Like, there's so much going on that you don't even have time to like sit and understand what is happening. Credits hit, and you're just like, wow.
It was like
On
a
top of
Twilight Zone.
the ending on the other planet feeling so final, and then you're in that ship with Mark Wahlberg for way too long,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, what the fuck is
You're right.
happening?
You're right.
And I just don't understand anything about this movie. How it got made, why? No.
Yeah, I hate it, Andy. Please give me some RaGuBaGu so we can end this all. Oh no.
Ow! Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Ape Guys here on what is it? Planet of the Apes in review. Where do we want to put Thade?
Yeah, because right now, currently number one, we have Koba and Carver. We have
was so
Colonel
Koba.
Woody,
Woody
number
Harrelson.
two,
Woody Harrelson.
Oh,
and then we have Malfoy and Stryker
Oh, from part one.
from part one.
We'll go dead last on this.
Dead
actually.
dead last for Thade. Oh, this isn't good.
And again, notice-
Hold on, was Stryker?
Brian Cox.
Right.
Oh.
That's why we called him Striker.
That's right.
Wolverine.
You are not serious.
But let me do my Brian Cox. Ready?
Sure.
Oh, Wolverine! We gotta get you with the X-Men. We gotta have the X-Men. We gotta have the assemble of Avengers come together. We're gonna come together. We're gonna bring them together.
it's
It's so
bad.
frustrating that you didn't watch Succession and you're missing that Brian Cox from your life.
No, because what does he call them? Cocksuckers? What is it? Yeah, cocksuckers.
Fuck off. You're not serious,
fuck off.
people.
That's it.
All right, here we go. We were down internet. Now we are back, everybody. So yeah, we're putting Thad dead last here. Thad.
We have a follow-up from Kevin for Science with Kev.
Oh, great.
Apes can swim.
Oh,
Well, there we go. Their muscle density, I guess, doesn't matter.
apes together swim.
You're right. Now it's time to rank these movies. Currently, number one, War for the Planet of the Apes. Number two, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Number three, Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Remember, these movies are named very weird. Very weird. But
I'm gonna have to rewatch
for you to
these, I think, before
understand,
next week.
we go 3, 2, 1.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we
Oh.
ranked number three as number one, and number one is number three.
This is a close one.
I'll argue that this could be number 2.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you.
No, this is dead last. I mean, this is not a good movie.
If we
And
put it number
obviously-
2, though, ape together strong.
That-
Ape together strong.
Remember, Andy is the color.
So this is interesting. So obviously it's last place, correct?
Yeah, we don't
Yes,
have to vote.
it's last place.
It's fifth place.
We're getting into
Yeah, not even
definitely
the-
it is one of the. Let's just do it.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
just
put
do
it at
it.
fifth place. I'll make the
Yeah.
graphic for next week. It'll be
Great.
fifth place.
Next week we're getting into Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which is interesting for a couple reasons.
I'm worried.
Me too. Me
Because
too.
like I part of me is like I feel like we've seen the best of what this franchise could be,
Yeah.
and I hope that it could get anywhere close.
And that's the thing. Matt Reeves doing the last two, correct? Knocked it out of the fucking park. It was
Yeah.
so
Incredible.
good. And now it's like, all right, this one, from what we've seen in the trailers, it looks good, but I'm not like, oh man, I needed this, and I'm a little concerned with it all over, like just the vibe of it. But there's two things I'm interested in. One, the director of this is going to be directing The Legend of Zelda, the movie.
Oh,
Oh,
So
just,
I'm interested to see
No,
get a
what we
glimpse.
got going there.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it's capable.
he's been doing.
What did he do before the Maze Runner or something like
I
that?
think so.
One of those teen movies.
Yeah, but he's been doing a lot of interviews recently, like in the press run for Kingdom. For Kingdom, and a lot of people are asking him about Zelda, and it sounds like he really gives a fuck about Zelda. So
Love
I'm
that.
excited for that. And he was saying that he learned a lot on this movie for Zelda. So I'm like, we'll see.
is that good or
Well,
bad?
I hope it's
Or
good.
just-
I hope it's
I think
good.
it's good because you have to with Zelda.
Live action.
Oh, it's live action.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
this
so
isn't
we'll,
gonna be good.
we'll see.
Big
a lot
mistake.
of,
It's
lot
gonna
of,
be
lot
so
of we'll
bad.
sees here. And then the other thing is, I have seen the trailer for this movie a bazillion times, but I always saw the trailer for this movie next to Godzilla Cross Kong, New Empire of Kong and Godzilla, whatever
Frozen
the fuck it's
Empire.
called, Frozen Empire. And remember when everyone was asking me like, Tim, who's the bad guy in Godzilla Kong? And I said like, for sure, it's Scar King or whatever his name
Skarg.
is. Skarg. Like, I'm pretty sure the bad guy in this is Skarg as well. Like, dude, like I've mixed these two trailers in my mind because they look so similar.
Yeah.
Scar King
I mean, there's a lot of monkeys.
and
fighting.
the new
And
king of the
so the
they have.
emaciated sort of looking ape.
Yeah.
Here,
So-
this is the trailer for it.
Oh, there we have this.
Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Here it is. This is
Let us
Austin.
know in the comments below what you thought of this movie. I am so sorry if you watched it because of me. If you didn't, thank you. Don't ever listen to me. That was a bad call. But I really don't blame myself. I blame Tojo Company or
Hollywood.
whatever it is, Toho
Fox.
Company for not putting Godzilla
Oh,
out
man.
here. All right, we
that's
could have
fair.
been watching Godzilla.
Tim,
minus
you were
one.
promising me the whole week that we were going to get a steak dinner. And
Yeah.
then I show up and you're like, hey, here's this leftover fucking meatloaf from 2 weeks ago.
Man. Bad stuff, everybody. Bad stuff. But thank you for hanging out with us. Whether a movie's good or bad, we try to have a fun time here, and we did. We had a lot of impressions. We learned a lot. We learned that Nick's a good writer. There's a lot of great stuff. But
Nick
until
coined
next
the
time,
so
phrase
hard at that.
mouth pooch.
Poochie.
hold on to your mouth, pooches, everybody. Goodbye.